Ghosting is when someone suddenly disappears from a relationship without explanation. No closure, no goodbye, no clear reason. One day there is communication, the next day there is silence. And psychologically, that silence can feel louder than words. For the person being ghosted, the experience often triggers confusion and self-doubt. The human brain craves closure. When something ends without explanation, the mind keeps searching for answers. What did I do wrong? Was it something I said? Did I misunderstand everything? This mental loop happens because uncertainty is stressful. The brain prefers a painful truth over an unanswered question. Ghosting activates the same neural pathways associated with physical pain. Social rejection is processed in areas of the brain linked to threat detection. From an evolutionary perspective, being excluded from a group once meant danger, so even modern social rejection can feel deeply personal and intense. But what about the person who ghosts? Ghosting is usually avoidance, not cruelty. Many people ghost because they are uncomfortable with confrontation. They fear emotional reactions, awkward conversations, or feeling like the bad person. Instead of communicating honestly, they escape. Avoidance gives immediate relief from discomfort. There is also a strong connection between ghosting and attachment styles. People with avoidant attachment tend to withdraw when intimacy increases. When things start to feel emotionally serious, they may feel overwhelmed. Disappearing feels easier than explaining their fear of closeness. Technology has also made ghosting easier. In the past, ending communication required direct interaction. Now, silence can be delivered through a screen. Digital communication reduces accountability. When you don't see someone's emotional reaction, it's easier to detach. For the person being ghosted, the hardest part is often the lack of narrative. Humans create stories to make sense of experiences. Ghosting leaves a blank page. And in that blank space, the mind often writes the worst possible explanation. Interestingly, ghosting says more about the ghoster's emotional regulation than the ghosted person's worth. It reflects difficulty handling discomfort, vulnerability, or responsibility. It is a coping strategy, but an immature one. The psychological impact of ghosting can include lowered self-esteem, trust issues, and fear of future vulnerability. When someone disappears without explanation, it can create hyper-awareness in future relationships. Small changes in communication may feel threatening. Healing from ghosting involves reframing. Instead of asking, "Why wasn't I enough?" a healthier question is, "Why couldn't they communicate?" Closure does not always come from the other person. Sometimes it comes from recognizing that someone who avoids honest conversation may not have been emotionally available to begin with. Ghosting feels painful because humans are wired for connection and clarity. Silence disrupts both. But the absence of explanation is not proof of your inadequacy. Often, it is proof of someone else's inability to face difficult emotions. In the end, ghosting is not just disappearing. It is avoidance dressed as silence. And understanding that can turn confusion into clarity.